На улице 9 утра. Идет пепел. Вроде бы сказали, что извержение Шевелуча. На улице вообще ничего не видно, ночь.
9:40 утра, 9:50. Полная темень. Ничего не видно. Вон машина. Дороги нет. Пепла уже сантиметров 5. 10:40 утра. В течение 1,5 часов продолжался пеплопад. Вот сейчас посветлело.
On the 11th of April, shortly after midnight, one of Russia's most active volcanoes erupted. This is Seismic, located on the country's far eastern Kamchatka Peninsula. It spewed ash many miles high into the sky. The eruption completely covered nearby villages in layers of grey volcanic dust, the thickest in 60 years. The ash cloud from the volcano caused flight cancellations in places as far as Alaska.
Это активный андезитовый вулкан, для которого характерны взрывные извержения.
Seismic is about explosions and debris. It is a rather dangerous type of eruption.
Это взрывы, это белые породы.
Ну, слава богу, наступил снова день. Я думал, это никогда не закончится. Окна грязные, все грязное. На улице все просто желто-серое.
Over 12,000 kilometers away in Latin America, Colombia's Nevado del Ruiz volcano has been on orange alert since the 30th of March. Volcanologists have predicted that it can erupt within days or weeks. Villages and towns around the mountain have been asked to evacuate quickly. Although the volcano is infamous for claiming the lives of tens of thousands of people in a massive eruption in 1985, only a handful of locals have moved out from the potential eruption zone so far.
Pues la verdad es que pues ya nos han dicho que para evacuar, pero no nos vamos a ir, pues de mi parte hablo yo personalmente, estoy segura que también las personas de la vereda están de acuerdo, no van a evacuar porque tenemos que dejar nuestras cosas tiradas, ¿sí ven? Nuestros animalitos, cultivos.
Two volcanoes, two big eruptions. Thousands of lives at stake. Both the volcanoes are part of a tectonically active zone. It is called the Ring of Fire. We take you inside the string of volcanoes that encircle the Pacific Ocean. Seismic, which is over 60,000 years old, is one of Russia's most active volcanoes. It borrows its capacity for destruction from where it happens to be located. This is one of the world's most concentrated areas of geothermal activity, with about 30 active volcanoes. The Kamchatka Peninsula. The peninsula is situated over 6,000 kilometers east of Moscow and extends into the Pacific Ocean. Kamchatka contains 300 volcanoes. This arc is part of the Ring of Fire. Interestingly, two powerful volcanoes in the region erupted in the last 2 years. Standing at over 4,700 meters, Klushevskaya Sopka is Eurasia's tallest active volcano. It erupted in 2021. A year later, in 2022, volcanic activity was also noticed in Shiveluch. Both these volcanoes became active in November last year, releasing heavy lava flows and ash emissions. Scientists warned that major eruptions could be on the way. Cut to 2023, they were proven right.
Around midnight, Shiveluch volcano's activity increased. On the 11th of April at 3 a.m., the more intense activation stages took place. Between 5 and 6 in the morning, the volcano entered a new and very powerful activity stage. Soon after, a mighty cloud started rising up.
About 6 hours later, at around noon, the volcano reached a crescendo. It unleashed havoc on the nearby villages. The volcano spewed out a massive ash cloud over a staggering area of 108,000 square kilometers. Villages were blanketed in thick layers of grey ash that went as deep as 8.5 centimeters. The deepest in 6 decades. Look at these satellite images. They capture the volcano sending ashes 20 kilometers high into the sky. While no casualties have been reported so far, people living in the affected areas are struggling to deal with the disastrous aftermath. Kliuchi, Kozyrevsky and Maiskoye, these are the 3 villages that have been hit the hardest.
Дороги ужасные от слова совсем. Детей вести в сад вообще очень тяжело. Школы переведены на дистанционное обучение, потому что от такого массового выпада снега, пепла.
Schools have been temporarily closed and people have been ordered to remain indoors.
People have been advised to stay at home and close the windows and doors so that small particles of dust do not get in.
While the government continues to extend disaster relief to those battling these tough conditions, people's concerns seem to be only mounting.
Также обеспечена переброска водовозки, которая должна обеспечить.
We have secured alternative water carriers which should guarantee clean water to the residents of the villages. Water remains perhaps the most acute demand.
Улучшается ближе к вечеру. В то же время,
чтобы до них дойти, допустим, это очень далеко, в магазинах продаются за энное количество денег. То есть маска стоит где 10 рублей, где 20 рублей.
Shiveluch has also taken a toll on the movement of flights to as far as the Alaskan skies. The giant ash cloud from the Shiveluch volcano drifted over western Alaska, prompting some flights to be stalled as a safety precaution. The Kamchatka Volcanic Eruption Response Team issued a red notice for aviation, saying ongoing activity could affect international and low-flying aircraft. In Alaska, 27 flights were reportedly cancelled by the Alaskan Airlines. In the past also, volcanic eruptions have majorly disrupted international travel. Volcanic ash can cause engine failure and reduced visibility, making it unsafe to fly. Back in 2010, wind carried an ash cloud from the Icelandic volcano Eyjafjallajökull over northern Europe, leading to more than 100,000 flight cancellations. Shiveluch volcano's last major eruption occurred in 2007. Experts believe it has experienced over 60 sizable eruptions in the last 10,000 years. According to a climatologist, the latest eruption will lead to global cooling of 0.1 degrees Celsius, which may last up to 2 years.
This eruption could be quite significant because specific feature of this eruption is that very high vertical column of different eruption products, mainly sulfur dioxide. This effect will cause some small cooling, maybe 0.1 Celsius degrees, maybe even less, maybe a bit more, nobody knows yet.
Kamchatka's largest and most active volcano may become calm soon, but the peninsula has been witnessing many terrifying moments. Piotr Kirinkin and Kristina Kuruchkina are explorers. They recently accompanied a group of volcano scientists on their way to view the Besimiany volcano in the Kamchatka region when it blew up in their faces. The group formed makeshift shelters from sledges and snowmobiles as ash and rocks rained down from the eruption, hitting the ground around them.
Вулканологи знали, что активность у безымянного растет, и должно было произойти эпизод максимального, так сказать, извержения, да, называется пароксизм вулканологии. Вот. Но никто не знал, когда он произойдет, но вот были какие-то предвестники.
No one knows exactly when a volcano will erupt. It's something that scientists are trying to predict in Colombia, South America. "38 years ago, on the 13th of November 1985, a volcanic eruption killed 25,000 people in Colombia. It was the Nevado del Ruiz volcano. The incident is recorded as the worst natural disaster in Colombian history and one of the deadliest volcanic eruptions of the 20th century. The dangerous volcano has become active once again in 2023. Authorities report a spike in seismic activity, including rock fracturing and earthquakes around the snow-capped peak. President Gustavo Petro tweeted, "We have an orange alert due to the change in seismology at the Ruiz volcano. Mayors must prepare the protocols for this state of alert. Colombia is put on orange alert, and per Colombia's National Unit for Disaster Risk Management, UNGRD, there is a likelihood of a big eruption in weeks or even days." Since the 24th of March, the Colombian Geologic Service documented fracturing around the volcano's southwest slope, reaching depths between 2 and 4 kilometers from its peak. It urged surrounding communities to remain calm, but be attentive to any developing news about the state of the volcano. Towns and villages around the mountain have been asked to evacuate, with local and national authorities declaring a state of emergency. Hundreds of families that are living near Colombia's Nevado del Ruiz volcano are facing a difficult decision today. Whether to abandon their homes and livelihood and evacuate, or to face the devastation of a volcanic eruption in weeks to come. As of the 4th of April 2023, about 120 residents had evacuated from the region.
Pues uno que va a dejar las cosas botadas, los cultivos, los animales, y cuando vuelva ya no hay nada. Que los amigos de los ajenos sí están poniendo cuidado a ver qué deja uno para ellos venir por eso, por las cosas. Entonces cuando venga uno ya no encuentra nada.
En el 85. Eso fue un susto muy berraco, entonces ya estábamos acostumbrados. Aquí ya estamos acostumbrados a todo, ya que bote ceniza, que bote ceniza y arena, y ya nos acostumbramos.
The Nevado del Ruiz volcano is part of the Andes Mountains, situated in the central part of Colombia, approximately 129 kilometers from the capital of Bogota. The volcano lies within the volatile Ring of Fire. But what exactly is this ring? The Pacific Ring of Fire is a belt of intense seismic activity encircling the Pacific Ocean. It stretches from Chile to the US state of Alaska in the east, and from New Zealand to Russia in the west. The Ring of Fire doesn't look like a circular ring. It is shaped more like a horseshoe that is about 40,000 kilometers long and up to about 500 kilometers wide. It is home to about 75% of the world's volcanoes and about 90% of the world's earthquakes. This abundance of volcanoes and earthquakes is caused by the amount of movement of tectonic plates in the area. Tectonic plates move towards each other, creating subduction zones. One plate gets pushed down or is subducted by the other plate. This is a very slow process, a movement of just 1 or 2 inches per year. As this subduction happens, rocks melt and become magma, which moves to the Earth's surface and causes volcanic activity. People that are the most at risk from volcanic eruptions and earthquakes live in countries that lie along the Ring of Fire. Indonesia is one such country. An archipelago of 270 million people, Indonesia is prone to earthquakes and volcanic activity. On the 11th of March this year, Indonesia's Mount Merapi erupted. The eruption lasted throughout the day. It blocked out the sun and blanketed several villages with falling ash. Merapi is located on the densely populated island of Java. The eruption forced authorities to halt tourism and mining activities. Tourists who were visiting the country tried to escape as quickly as possible. Merapi is the most active of more than 120 active volcanoes in Indonesia. Its last major eruption was in 2010, killing 347 people and displacing over 20,000 villagers. Last year, on the 15th of January, another island nation sent tsunami waves across the Pacific Ocean. Tonga also sits on the seismically active Pacific Ring of Fire. The Hunga Tonga Hunga Hapai volcanic eruption was so powerful that it set off a sonic boom that circled the globe twice. The underwater eruption increased the amount of water in the stratosphere by 10%. All the homes on one of Tonga's small outer islands were destroyed by the massive volcanic eruption and tsunami. 6 people were confirmed dead. Last year also saw the world's largest active volcano, Hawaii's Mauna Loa, erupt for the first time in nearly 4 decades. Mauna Loa began erupting on the 27th of November, choreographing a spectacular display that sent rivers of molten rock gushing down its side. Meanwhile, Mauna Loa's sister volcano, Kilauea, has been erupting sporadically too. Its last major eruption was in 2018, when it destroyed hundreds of homes. Volcanic eruptions are unpredictable. However, scientists can monitor volcanoes to estimate when they are likely to erupt. They can do so by looking at earthquakes, emissions of gases, inflation or deflation of the volcano. In 1991, an estimated 5,000 lives were saved through an evacuation of the area surrounding Mount Pinatubo in the Philippines. On that occasion, advanced warnings of an eruption were made by the U.S. Geological Survey and the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology. It was one of the largest eruptions of the last century. A look at the world's most violent volcanoes is a humbling reminder of their destructive power. The Earth is dotted with countless volcanoes. Which one of them will unleash its fury next?